Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Jurassic World video. In today's video, we'll be going down the speculation route and discussing whether or not the next Jurassic World movie will be setting up a new trilogy in the same way that Jurassic World and Jurassic Park did. So, if you're excited to learn more based on things we already know, then please be sure to like the video and get ready to enjoy today's content. But of course, before we do that, we'll continue to raise awareness of the ongoing genocide taking place in Palestine. Our fundraiser is still up and running to help support the innocent children who have been killed and displaced. If you're able to, please consider donating to help those in need right now. Together, we can continue to make a difference. Thank you. But now, let's take a look at what the future of Jurassic movies could look like. So of course, we'll be making a video relatively soon. I want to start doing some type of big news videos, let's say monthly, for the new release of Chaos Theory and Jurassic 7. But basically we know quite a lot about the next Jurassic movie already. So what do we know so far that makes us think that maybe a new trilogy might or might not be starting for the Jurassic World franchise? Well, firstly, this is apparently, according to reports, being described as a quote-unquote new era, which to me means a new section, a new story. We had the Jurassic era, which basically took place between Jurassic Park and Jurassic World Dominion. Practically a 30-year saga, 30-year era right there. And that's why I really enjoyed Jurassic World Dominion, because it finalized the Jurassic Park storyline and it finalized the Jurassic World storyline, and then it sets up the future of the Jurassic storylines as well. All simultaneously in one movie, and I feel like it did a really good job in doing that. And now that this next movie is being described as a new era, to me it feels as though it could be saying that something new is beginning, in the sense that this is going to be the first movie of many movies to come, maybe not just the trilogy. Now I know Jurassic World was technically in some way classified as one. In a way, I guess you can say that it was a new era for Jurassic, because we entered the hybridization era, but at the end of Jurassic Park 3, we already had amalgam testing, so we kind of knew that hybridization was going to be on the way eventually, especially with how those John Sayles Jurassic Park 4 scripts were turning out. Oh boy, they were alien dinosaur looking human hybrid things. They were horrible. But we knew that, eventually if Jurassic World was to release, that's the route that they were going to go down. But it's clear that Jurassic World started a new trilogy, Jurassic Park started a trilogy. So, since this is now being described as a new era, in my opinion, I would say that kind of classifies Jurassic 7 as a start of a new trilogy at least as well. Who knows, maybe even a double trilogy, who knows. But it's the way that this movie is being explained so far in early reports according to Deadline. Now to me, a trilogy makes the most sense to capitalize on the market out there right now who still want to see these movies. Sure, Jurassic World Dominion might not have had the best reception to some people, but at the end of the day it still made $1 billion at the box office. I'm not expecting Jurassic 7 to make big numbers like that. I'm expecting maybe at least $750 million. Because unfortunately it does seem like the popularity is somewhat going lower and lower every time a new Jurassic movie releases based on the box office earnings. So again, I'm not expecting Jurassic 7 to be over £1 billion, however, there are still a lot of people who would love to see this dinosaur action, and with Steven Spielberg working heavily as executive producer, David Koepp working the script, and Gareth Edwards being the director, just those names alone will probably bring a lot of people in anyways. And to kickstart a new trilogy, this would be the best way possible to move forward with the people who practically started it from the very get-go back in 1993, plus the Godzilla 2014 director, which loads of people absolutely loved. And if Jurassic were to compete with other movie franchises such as Star Wars and Marvel and all of that, DC, they're going to have to start releasing a lot more movies a lot more frequently. So I would anticipate that a trilogy would make the most logical sense here. Not to release a movie every single year like Marvel do, but maybe an animated series, then a movie, and then a live action series, and then an animated series, live action series, and then another movie. Who knows? Something along those lines. At least something every year. It doesn't have to be something so costly and so in depth, but it does seem like maybe at the very least, a movie trilogy would make the most sense. Especially to compete in today's market in movies as well. Not only that, but creating a new trilogy would be the best opportunity to progress the story on from Dominion. As we know, whether you love the movie or hate the movie, Jurassic World Dominion did a fantastic job at setting up the future of Jurassic, whether that be individual storylines, a new major storyline, or even possibly going back in time as well to answer some questions in Jurassic World Dominion. But unfortunately, we've barely seen any mainland action, and we've been on the mainland in this universe for 6 years now, 7 by the time the next movie rolls out. Or you can say, about 25 years if you want to classify the Lost Worlds ending where we had the San Diego incident, but we'll move on from that. But typically, it's been 7 years once the next Jurassic movie comes out since we at least touched up on the mainland with Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So, I think it's time that we start talking about the mainland, we start talking about stories on the mainland, and seeing what can be done about this, because, at the end of the day, there's loads of stories that have been set up here for Dominion, so I do think that it is time to explore the events of the mainland. And while some people, thought for some reason in their head that Dominion was going to focus on the dinosaurs on the mainland rather than wrapping up the story from 30 years, people are getting upset about that, and, we'll get our first taste of dinosaurs on the mainland with Jurassic World Chaos Theory, which I'm very excited about. But, at the end of the day, it is an animated series, and people want to see live-action dinosaurs, so hopefully this does mean that we'll move on to a trilogy which will showcase dinosaurs on the mainland. But unfortunately right now, it does seem somewhat unlikely given the recent rumours that Jurassic 7 may be set as a prequel and before the events of Jurassic World Dominion, or maybe even earlier in the timeline as well. That's a concern of mine, and the concern of actually many others. I think it's a very tight majority going on. But it does seem as though there's a lot of people who don't really want a prequel, they want to move and advance the story on from Dominion. So if this was to be a prequel, to me, it seems like it should be more of a standalone movie, which doesn't really start a trilogy, we'll just have to wait and see, but I wouldn't be against something that takes place just after Battle of Big Rock, or before Jurassic World Dominion. Kind of like the timeline of where Jurassic World Chaos Theory is unfolding, but I wouldn't mind something like that would then kind of set up the second movie, which would take place in the year of 2028, for example. Something like that I wouldn't mind too much, I just need a bit more clarification of what's going on between the years of 2022 and 2028 in the Jurassic universe, that's all. But if this is to be a prequel, which some people are reporting on, it's kind of concerning, and if it is, I don't really think that this movie will be setting up a trilogy in any way. It might be setting up future movies, who knows, but I don't think it will be the start of a trilogy. It'll be a standalone movie, kind of like how Star Wars Rogue One was. Coincidentally, actually, Gareth Edwards also directed that movie as well, so yeah, we'll have to wait and see. He directed Godzilla 2014, which set up a trilogy, or I think 4 or 5 movies now. Completely started a new monsterverse, but then he also directed Rogue One, a Star Wars story, which was kind of like a spin-off, and it was a kind of a prequel, I guess, but it was a standalone movie that didn't set up a trilogy. But yeah, I do think that the majority, a very slight majority though, of people would prefer to see a sequel and a trilogy, as do I. For me personally, I think a trilogy makes the most sense here. I think there's a lot of story to be told here. You can do 3 major movies within the next, 9 years, 7 years or something. And then individually you can make smaller movies throughout the 1 year, 2 year advancements on Jurassic World Dominion. Something that kind of explains what's been happening on the mainland to some individuals. It doesn't have to set up a major story, but just a little bit of Jurassic action, some people can just enjoy about it and get a different perspective of this Jurassic universe. Something like that I would hopefully be able to see someday from the Jurassic franchise. So, whether or not this next movie is setting up a new trilogy is a question that's very difficult to answer right now, until we get further details. It was reported on over a year ago by Giant Frickin' Robot that 2 new Jurassic World movies are in the works. Now only one of the 2 have been confirmed so far, but if we were to take that report into account, then maybe a trilogy might also be on the way. But until we know where Jurassic 7's story is going to go, and what time period it will be set in, it's rather difficult to make a guess as to whether or not it's setting up a new trilogy. I'd like to think so. I think that's the best way to go about it, and after all, if they can create 11, soon to be 12 Fast and Furious movies, I should think that they'd be able to at least make 9 Jurassic movies, right? But yeah, it's difficult to say, but I'm swaying on a 60-40 split right now that yes, Jurassic 7 will be the start of a new trilogy. I'm interested to learn more about what you guys think in the comments below, so feel free to head on down and let me know whether or not you think Jurassic 7 is setting up a future trilogy, and if you'd be open to seeing one as well. Feel free to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on the latest Jurassic World news, and be sure you also consider donating to our fundraiser if you can. But make sure you're also keeping yourselves safe out there, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye. Hello, hi, you. Did you enjoy the video? Just a little reminder to press that like button and also subscribe. I just want to thank my Patreons for this month on screen right here, as giving me that little extra support really does go a long way. But anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day.